Alright guys, so today I got a pretty cool project I'm going to try. I'm going to try some mill turning here in my Centroid Acorn milling machine. And so to do that, I'm going to start out in Centroid CNC 12 mill. And I'm going to set up the Y-axis for the tool. So I'm in Centroid CNC 12 milling right now. And I'm going to set my Y-axis for the center line of the tool. And a pretty cool trick, if you'd never done it before, is to use a ruler. And you can see right now the ruler's at an angle. But as I jog this... Oh, wrong way. Alright, so as I step this over at 1/1000th increments, you can watch this ruler, or this scale, get straight. So when that scale is nice and straight, that's when you know that you're on the center line of your tool, or pretty close. So at that point, I'm going to jog or step the X-axis in the milling machine away from the tool, but I'm not going to move my Y-axis. It's really important that you don't move your Y-axis at this point, because when we switch into CNC 12 lathe, this Y-axis is not going to move at all. So it's really important that we don't move it at this point. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into Wizard, and you're going to want to take down some notes from your input definitions if you don't have them all written down already, and your outputs, your configuration, like your overall turns ratio, your lash compensation, especially for the X and the Z axis. And you're going to want to put that, this is all going to be settings that you're going to match into CNC 12 lathe. So you're going to want to write some of this stuff down so you can match all those settings into CNC 12. Alright, so the next thing you're going to have to do is Acorn lathe wants different inputs for each of these axes than mill. So you're going to have to take the X-axis and move it to step in direction 2, and you're going to have to take the Z-axis and move it to step in direction 1, and then take the Y and just unhook it completely because we're not going to be using that at all right now. Alright, so I went ahead and put the Z-axis to step in direction 1 and the X-axis to step in direction 2. And it really does help to just remove this plug from the Acorn board. If you didn't know you could do that, yeah, just a couple little tabs, and it just makes it a lot easier to plug these in. Alright, so back to the front of the control. Now just make sure that your Z negative and Z positive, X negative, X positive are true to the movement that you want on the machine. If not, you're going to have to go into Utility and Acorn Wizard and then reverse the direction of the axes. But in my case here, I just had to reverse the Z-axis. The X-axis was right on, so we're good to go there. So I went ahead and took a skim cut on both the new X and Z, or well, it'd be the same X and Z for the lathe, but it's just kind of odd to think about it in the mill sense. But I took a skim cut on those both axes. I did the tool setup in Centroid Acorn lathe, and then I loaded up this pawn, this sample pawn program. But I did edit the roughing stepping because it's a piece of steel, and I don't really know what's going to happen here, so hoping that it works. So. Alright, so maiden voyage here. I did start the program. I enabled keyboard jogging so that I can enter in spacebar quickly on this, not knowing what's going to go down here, but I got the distance to go, Z 95,000ths, X 0. Got the spindle running. It looks like I'm about 95 thousandths away there, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to press cycle start here. And it is taking cuts. Alright, so it is officially running a lathe program right now. Pretty wild. And it does come pretty close to hitting there, but I've made sure to measure it all beforehand. It did make me pucker just now a little bit, but I got my hand on the E-stop. Slowed down the feed rate a little bit so it's not squealing at all. Working the insert cutter a little bit harder. And the spindle speed has slowed it down just a little bit. Alright, so that went about as good as I would have ever imagined it to. Now I have a pawn turned up, and wow, that worked extremely well. I'll be using this as a lathe probably all the time. Definitely going to make some sort of gang tool fixture so I can do some drilling and boring and set them all up in series so that I can do tool changes, and even maybe a cutoff tool to cut off a part and just drop it right on the table and pull out more stock and make another one. So anyways, that's gonna about do it here. Yeah, turned the Centroid mill into a lathe really quick. I mean, it's probably the easiest mill turn setup that I've ever done. So yeah, hopefully you can enjoy this as much as I have. So awesome.